चलो फिर आगे आप रिलेशंस एंटीरियर पहला वील स्टार्ट विद द सेंट्रल पार्ट हैज़ गॉट अ रूफ फ्लोर एंड द मीडियल वॉल स्टार्टिंग विद द रूफ ऑफ द lateral ventricle central part. As already shown, this was the corpus callosum. Thereby the roof is formed by the undersurface of the trunk of the corpus callosum. Corpus callosum the parts आगे anteriorly going we have the rostrum, genu. This is the trunk, and going backwards we have the splenium. Roof is formed by central part of the corpus callosum. The medial wall would be formed by the posterior part of the septum pellucidum. The floor would be formed by from lateral to the medial side. आ सारा जो रन करे caudate nucleus है. So lateral most we have the caudate nucleus. Then we have within it running stria terminalis. Next we have the thalamostriate vein. Further medial most we have the lateral surface of upper part of the thalamus, CST. Central part done. Coming to the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. The anterior horn is composed of roof, floor, anterior wall and the medial wall. The roof of the anterior horn is formed by the rostrum of the corpus callosum. The anterior wall is formed by the rostrum and genu of the corpus callosum. The medial wall is formed by the anterior-inferior part of the septum pellucidum. Anterior part of the septum pellucidum forms the medial wall of the anterior horn. The floor is formed by head of the caudate nucleus laterally and the upper surface of the rostrum of corpus callosum medially. आएगी floor होगी जो नीचे नु bend होके आ रहा है अपना rostrum basically. That is why we have the upper surface of rostrum of the corpus callosum which forms the floor of the anterior horn. Anterior wall हो गया, medial wall हो गया, roof हो गया, floor हो गया. Coming to the posterior horn. The posterior horn has got the roof, lateral wall and the medial wall. The roof is formed by, over here we had the corpus callosum. Lateral most fibers of the corpus callosum are tapetum. So the roof is formed by tapetum. The lateral wall as well is formed by the tapetum. The medial wall of the posterior horn bears two elevations within it. Above it has a prominent elevation known as the bulb of the posterior horn, which is formed by the forceps major fibers. Below it another elevation would be seen which is known as calcar avis, which is formed by the calcarine sulcus. Coming to the inferior horn now. The inferior horn, this is the inferior horn. The inferior horn has got a roof and a floor. The roof is formed again by the tapetum siga. Piche posterior most we had the forceps major going tapetum the limit AC. So the roof of the inferior horn is formed by the tapetum, inferior surface of the tapetum. Tail of the caudate nucleus आज जो draw किया सी, tail of the caudate nucleus, stria terminalis, which are nothing but the white matter fibers arising from the amygdaloid body. Also the amygdaloid body itself forms the roof of the inferior horn. Inferior surface of tapetum, tail of the caudate nucleus, stria terminalis, amygdaloid body. The floor is formed medially by the hippocampus, covered with the alveus. Laterally we have the collateral eminence arising from the collateral sulcus.